totally and brutally honest here. Sean Corbin makes Valery Brudov look like Ivan Drago. It's as simple as that. He's beat what's in front of him tonight. He faces me. He's going to visit mental demons again. And let's get something straight. Come to me, mate. You come to me. Next time, ain't no judges going to be needed. I'm going to do worse than Kovalev. I am going to do worse than Kovalev.
On Saturday night, mate, you better hold it together. I'm going to smash it near you to pieces, mate. I'm going to hit him. When he gets in the ring and we get 10-ounce gloves on, I'm going to smash his head to bits. I'm going to do it November the 30th against all odds. No matter what people say, the journalists write what you want. All as I'll say is tune back in and then look at me on December the 1st when I am world champion. It's as simple as that.
I'm willing to die in that ring. It's as simple as that. I am willing to die. I'm willing to die, Saturday. Is he?
You fucking rat! 3-5, let's go on to the Bellew of the week then, shall we? Rapping Rob Kelly, heard him there. He's with us, as is Andy Patterson, Ozzy Smith and Ben Faruqi. Okie dokie, let's have a look here. What have we got then? First of all, oh, no, not that one. Well, I suppose you could throw that in, couldn't you? Someone having a go at Terry O'Connor. We're big fans of that. Yep, Terry himself is getting nominated by Gerwin at CFisher32. Pretty self-explanatory information there. Joe nominating Sky Sports, doing a Black History Month skit, only to go and rob a black fighter 5 minutes later. Indeed, Thomas Asomba robbed against Thomas Ward. Bit of a Poundland Bernard Dunn vibe about him, Ward, but he seems like a nice enough kid, so we wish him well for the future. Baggies fan 1, always taking L's in and out of the football pitch. Baggies fans, Palooka Peters nominated him. Hopefully, if Katie Taylor gets the win next month, Clarissa Shields would be a good fight for early next year. Defo love to see that one. Okay, fair enough. I don't know if I screenshotted it or not. I don't know if you saw it, Andy. Clarissa was getting stuck in after the Lomachenko find. They're calling him the greatest, and I've done this, and I've done that. The quote was in full voice.
She was.
Yeah.
What about that? She's the greatest woman of all time.
Pretty much. She said they were going about Lomachenko doing this and moving up divisions. And what about the quote? What about the quote, Andy?
The quote. Listen, there's a. I didn't want to mention it as a white man, but there's an unearing or unnerving situation involving here, a bit of racism about this fight. Because I've just seen a tweet there actually for some African American who has screenshotted something and tweeted it by saying, this is for Lomachenko fans, and it's got a screenshot of Google, and it says Honduran, racist comments, for example. So it's obviously the kind of bait and stuff like that. It's kind of horrible to see that. I don't know if it's just because it's American culture and that, but
she's a banger anyway. Clarissa Shields. The only person that mentions Lomachenko and Clarissa Shields in the same breath is Clarissa Shields.
But you know what,
Rocky Fielding.
This racism thing is true, and that's when Rob, you mentioned what I was saying about Lomachenko winning being bad, and the reason why I thought it was bad just was because it sort of helps push these narratives that people are putting out there that are just racist narratives. They don't like the fact that people are saying Lomachenko's number one simply for the fact that he's a white fighter. I'm a person of color. It's fucking nonsense to say that. If you're going to judge people or only support people because they're from the same ethnic origin or else, you're a fucking idiot. And you are, if you're a good fighter, you're a good fighter at the end of the day. And that's all that's the only way we should be judging people. But there's a massive narrative out there to only support people that come from, and it seems to be especially prevalent in the States, only to support people that come from your sort of background.
Big time.
It's completely unacceptable. We need to fucking get that out of the sport.
Big time. I experienced that in the States, and I'm talking like in talking boxing with people. I get talking boxing with people. I've heard Lomachenko has a coming soon. Golovkin is not all that. I heard all that. But I mean, Floyd's at the start. Floyd's at the middle of it all. A fella like that. Like we mentioned it last week. He's been at it. He's bringing it to the forefront. And blatantly coming out saying that anybody that thinks Loma's pound for pound number one is a racist. That's fucking ridiculous. And I rarely tweet anything about boxing. I rarely get into, atting fighters, because who the fuck am I to add a fighter to criticize him, really? But at the same time, I couldn't let the Devin Haney things, for him to come out and say Lomachenko, I told you he was whack all along. I think I was qualified to answer him. Yeah, I was qualified to answer him because we've, on this panel, all won as many world titles in the ring as Devin Haney has. So, fucking shocking. But it's sad. We talked about it on the pod millions of times. It's a disgrace. People that watch the sport like that are fucking disgrace.
Absolutely. Yep, exactly. Shout out to Clarissa for Bellew of the Week nomination. Bellew of the Week for Prince Patel as well, losing to the main man Everest. Unfortunately, nothing back from Everest. Maybe he's asleep. It might be like 3 o'clock in the morning there or something. But we haven't managed to topple Everest yet. So maybe try and get him on for next week if we can. I missed out on him during the week, unfortunately. Here's another banger. Danny Cassius O'Connor, whatever you call him. Unpopular opinion. I hate people who talk shit about stuff they've never done. I get that boxing is subjective, but it proper grits my shit when you have people talking about the game like they were Angelo Dundee's apprentice and they've never laced up the gloves themselves. And Andy, how many fights did Angelo Dundee have?
The square root of 0.
I went through Danny Cassius Connor's timeline when I saw that tweet, and he's got so many tweets where he's talking about football and complaining about coaches and signings. I was thinking, he's a bit fucking.
He said that was okay though, didn't he? Because he played football at a decent level.
Cool. He's saying we got opinion.
I hope his football career is better than his box ring.
Yeah, quick one on Angelo Dundee, Andy. It was a classic comparison.
It was a classic comparison. So I said to him, Angelo Dundee had never fought, and that Jesus wept over it and said, and I said, so what's the excuse for Tunde Ajayi? He responded and he says, Tunde's been around about the game for years. And I says, I saw a lot of blaggers, mate. Didn't respond to that, did he?
Good old Danny. Good form. Ricky Gravel threw that one in. I haven't seen Ricky tonight in the chat. I hope you're well, Ricky. I hope you're still alive. It's always a bonus. Derek Chisora. War is coming, says Chisora. Sean jumped in. Bradis pressured Usyk and gave him fits. Derek's a different level when it comes to pressure. 100%. British Boxing Blogs nominated him for that. Here is the man himself, Tony.
Yes.
Usyk will beat every heavyweight except Fury and Joshua, says Tony.
Oh, is it that one? All right, I thought you were going to give him the nomination for the O'Hara Davis beef. We'll get to that one.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to mention that in a minute.
Yes.
Who's Tony Bellew beat? Who's world class, Rocky? Who has he beat?
Vacant titles.
Good old Tony. Yeah, tell us about the O'Hara beef there, Andy, while you're at it. Actually, I haven't got a screenshot for that. What was going back and forwards? O'Hara seemed to drop a bit of bait out. Tony had a fighter boxing last night. Do you know any more information?
Well, I think he put out a tweet. Was it yesterday? I think it was Davis. He says, "How are you, Tony? How you doing, Tony?" or something like that. Like he spoke too highly of your man for him to get spanked today. So did Tony have a fighter on the card on Saturday?
I think he did, but I'm not sure who it was.
He got beat.
Was it Joe Laws? Was Laws his fighter?
It wasn't Laws. It was something else. Who was it, Ozzy?
Was it the fellow who fought Kane Baker? No.
Who's that? Sorry.
Who was Tony Bellew's fighter on the card on Saturday?
Yeah, Kane Baker.
Kane Baker. So he
fought Kane Baker.
Right, so Tony Bellew's fighter got beat. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Right, so
I'll tell you his name. Mashek Spear. He's called.
Did they get knocked out or something like that?
Got beat on points. 59,
right. Okay.
56.
So Davis has basically kind of tweeted out like your man's took an L on that, and you need to keep it moving. That PS Usyk turns you into a pancake. All these pictures of Tony lying sparkled with his legs abreast and Usyk laughing and all that sort of stuff and that. So Tony's come back and says, "Will you ever do this quitter with his WBC title at Goodison Park and that?" So just kind of like snowballed for there, and basically Tony just went fucking full fucking tomahawk in that. He just says, "I'll see you where I see you," and all that sort of shit. So it's like I'm like Tony's basically saying within 2 minutes like social media isn't real, and he's raising O'Hara Davis 2 minutes later, you know. So it's fucking brilliant.
The clash of the titans, that one, isn't it? O'Hara versus Bellew.
But I thought Tony was very company man last night. Actually, did you ever notice he was talking about some of the fights that was happening and stuff? Did you ever notice the wee undertones? It wasn't
company man. Bellew, surely not.
Yeah,
Andy.
but I'm sure Anna mentioned some comments on social media, for example, and Tony says, kind of like brushed those off and that, and says, well, I don't think it was that, it was closer fight, it wasn't that wider fight, for example, and that. I forget the exact comments and that, but Tony's kind of slipping into full company man mode.
He can't shut the fuck up. Did you hear him in the IFL when he said, well, if they were talking about potential opponents for Tyson Fury for this takeover fight, and he said, they said, who would you like to fight? And he thought about it for a second, and he said, tell you what, if Frank Warren is so keen on having Dubois fight White, why doesn't he have him fight Tyson Fury? Because he's fucking contracted to fight George Hoyt, that's why. Jesus Christ. well, it's like he repeats Eddie Hearn's lines, bar for bar now. Like last week, it was all about Joshua. Who else has done this so quick in the sport? Who has achieved what he's achieved? Anthony Joshua, when he was defending his position on Joshua beating Fury, absolute regurgitation of the Eddie Hearn tripe. So yeah, he's unbelievable at the moment. He cannot shut the fuck up or get out of the way of a camera. Tony Bellew.
Can I put another one in for Tony Bellew, Steve? Just while you're up.
Yeah, of course you can.
We're on Tony. So Tony kind of comes out on this. I think it was about Thursday, saying that, like, Matchroom, this is just simple facts. From August to December, they've done 18 shows globally. Who else is doing these kind of numbers and stuff like that, right? So literally, I respond. Everybody responds. It's literally top rank, right? It says, but of course, Tony's just too much a company man to notice and that. But then, if he's too much a company man to notice, how did they notice that 5 feet homophobic fucking flag to Canada leash hanging behind them go put up by a fucking ninja or an SAS hit squad? They never saw that either, did they? He's too fucking blind to notice.
Tell you what, he never saw either. Usyk's fucking left hook.
When he got iced.
That created all my fake sounds. Another shit to keep holes in the ground. My style's like a chemical spill.
Cause like a chemical spill!
Conducted in form, this is a hell of a concept. We make it hype, and you want us to
With
whip this.
this!
Oh, he's on the snort there, eh?
I've never seen that one before. Unbelievable.
That was classic, man. That was when Tony the morning after Tony got iced by Usyk, that one.
Brilliant.
He was on rare form that day. Shout out to Porky, man. Anyway, moving on. Zeconomics has nominated AJ's Lucozade Sport for Bellew of the Week. Drink it humbly. There's Stay Humble, Apple versus Raspberry, Anthony Joshua, Lucozade drink. Gets you up off the canvas after you've been knocked down by Ruiz, I suppose. What's this one? Joe Fudges Kelly nominating Dusty Harrison, retweeting Smack Talk. I think even Dusty was clowning his fight against Demetrius Andrade on Twitter. Here's Tony, talking about the article Matchroom have put on more shows during the pandemic. Ozzy says maybe worth checking out the amount of shows Top Rank have put on. Tony, then revise your statement. This is a nomination from David Almond for George and Devon Haney. They put up a little meme there saying Devon Haney every time they advertise Loma versus Tio for all the belts, and then Brooke sort of rolled in his eyes, and Devon Haney facts, like trying to say, I'm here as well, my little email championship. Nomination for BT Boxing Sport. Can't remember who nominated this one. Everything is there for Tommy Fury to become a world champion. John Fury, Tyson Fury, Sugar Hill Stewart is some team to have around you. Tommy Fury ain't going to become a world champion anytime soon, boys. Marcus Bellinger was nominated. Bob Arum. Kell Brook is one of the elite fighters in the world. A real test for Terence Crawford. Teddy Watson has nominated Neil Fannon and Alex Arthur. Good move, Alex. Comfortable for Ritson. Barely took a shot. Watched Vasquez run around for 12. Easy night. And Alex Arthur said, I thought it was a fight. There was one man trying to fight and the other trying to run and survive. So they both basically thought that Ritson won. And finally, Coney has nominated Joe Gallagher for claiming that Natasha Jonas is not being allowed onto Sky because of racism. So Joe's going in there on that one.
Fuck off with that. It's bullshit. Do you remember when Ted Cheeseman boxed Scott Fitzgerald? And Cheeseman usually goes into a war. And what did Cheeseman do? He boxed on the back foot, prodded around, didn't get involved in the war. And fuck me, Sky went Bellew for it. What a performance. What a tremendous style. This is excellent. Now, it's a case of one man was trying to force the fight and the other one was just boxing on the back foot, prodding around. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. How you can say Vasquez. I like Alex Arthur as well. I think he comes across really well, and he prior to that I thought he was decent, but yeah, he can fucking swivel on that because he's wrong.
That's the Michael Gomez fight catching up with him, Andy, maybe.
Yeah. He's had a few moments, Arthur, to be honest with you. But listen, see in Ritson's case, by the way, see, like a post-all, he was right about that fight, by the way. If Ritson would fight post-all, that would tell us exactly where he's at. And to be honest, I don't think he beats him. In fact, based off last night, he probably does actually, to be honest with you, sorry.
What? Oh, well, I was going to say, fuck me. Yeah, if he's got Fat Terry in the corner, anything's possible to do that. There's, I reckon there's 20 fighters that Lewis Ritson won't beat at the moment. Easy. I'd take Terry Flanagan.
Yep, I agree.
Fat Terry's an asset to people, I think, though. You know what I mean? British officials, man, they're more dangerous to foreign fighters than frigging COVID-19. It's the officials they want to be worrying about coming into the country, not contracting an illness.
Yeah. Baranchik, I think, could smash him up, just destroy him. Barthélemy, like I said, Catterall would destroy him. O'Hara Davis would be interesting, purely for the fact it'd be interesting to see the way Davis comes to fight. I didn't think he looked great against McKenna, but that'd be interesting. I think Algeria would box rings around him. Beltran would still beat him now. Yigit had beat him. Relic had beat him. Who's that European champion? Sandor Martin. He'd beat him as well. They're a long. Imagine Mohamed Mamouni against Ritson. Again, if you can get a fair card, their levels, they're way off. Yeah, I don't even think they're at European level. They are a long, long way off.
Okay, that's all the one I've got, boys. Any from you, Ozzy, first of all?
We've got Bellew, all the Bellew ones in, haven't we?
Yeah, without doubt.
Got to chuck in Fat Terry. A for the scorecard and B for actually getting caught on his fucking phone ringside during the fight.
Can I just jump in there with Ozzy as well, mate, and just mention the petition that's getting asked to be signed? Because just again for the listeners and people who are going to listen back to us, just remember this, just for like mathematical reasons. One judge had Ritson winning this fight 9 rounds to 3. Now, if he had misheard me, say it again loud. 9 rounds to 3 to Lewis Ritson.
Ritson, rolling on. Ben, any nominations from you?
No, just Terry. That's the only nomination I had. And can I just ask? I'm sure we've seen pictures of him on his phone before. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was a different judge. I'm sure we've seen a photo of a judge on their phone, a British judge as well. I can't remember who it was off the top of my head.
I remember an American judge on the phone before. I'm not sure about a British one though, but it could possibly be. Andy, any nominations from you? Quite strong this week. Bellew throwing in some good ones, and I think Danny O'Connor was a good frontrunner for me too.
Lopez Senior needs to retire now because he did say that he would be knocked out in 6 rounds. Didn't retire, so he needs to be a man of his word now. Obviously he's not going to do it, just a bit of a joke, obviously. But no, I like this one actually. Now, obviously, I don't know if anybody noticed Ramirez's manager. I think it was mentioned about Josh Taylor. Had it become there'll be like massive forfeits if Taylor missed the fight. It'll cost him 7 figures. So you need to be staying out at the pubs and the clubs and that. So my orders are to get Taylor fight done for Ramirez, as I did with Hooker and all that sort of stuff. The good thing is, our first Der Führer, esteemed First Minister Nicola Sturgeon's actually shut down all the pubs. So Josh Taylor will not be in any fucking pub or club in the very near future. So we need to thank our Der Führer for saving Josh Taylor a 7-figure purse or a fine there. So at least that's something to kind of be thankful for. Ricky Richardson as well. Very unpopular for me to say this, but Richardson edged it for me. Turn the Sky commentary off. Vasquez was tickling and running. You could hear power shots nearly landing from Richardson all night. Absolutely amazing. This one as well. Now, obviously, I could mention. I don't know if this is official or anything like that, but I've seen something getting mentioned last night. The WBC have now officially brought in the changes between cruiserweight and heavyweight. So I don't know what they're going to be telling their current champions, for example, like the international. Is it Bakubu? Maybe the youth champion, the emeritus champion, the interim champions, all that sort of stuff that they need to cut at least what. I think it's £10. What's that? 5% or whatever that, the body weight, and then if they can't do that, they need to step up another. Is it £12 to fight the smallish heavyweights and stuff without naming a division in between? What a clusterfuck! Is this going to be the only body that's going to recognise a division between cruiserweight and heavyweight? What's the IBF, WBO, and WBA going to be doing about this sort of stuff? It's just an absolute fucking joke. So we'll throw WBC in there as well.
Happy to throw them in as well. Porky threw one in for Steffi Bull for tweet-related offences. We've got Tony Bellew as well.
I've got
Bomber
another one.
Bellew's balls bouncing off Bean's beak. There's an image for you to think about on a Sunday evening. Who else hasn't gone yet? Rapping Rob Kelly, have you got any nominations?
No, I just think Haney deserves to be a strong nomination this week. Like, saying that, like, they're not like, oh, we follow your careers, we know we've been fighting, like, haven't fought anybody in the same stratosphere, like, we didn't even do all that from the sidelines, like, Kevin never won a world title. Pathetic, that was absolutely pathetic. That and Bellew and Terry O'Connor. Like, Terry O'Connor getting caught on the phone is going to take some topping from me. Like, do you know, he surely has a notion that there's cameras in here. Like, fucking, I'm only sitting ringside. Like, I'll have a quick look. I don't know, was he checking scores or what was he at? Like,
was he getting the kebab fixed
or what he was on Just Eat or whatever the fuck he was doing anyway. He shouldn't have been doing it. So
Just Eat.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That was shocking. That was shocking. It nearly is bad.
He's not sure getting off to Oz.
I figured out what it is. It's when I'm walking. I'm such a freak lightning when I start walking. The wind starts rustling behind me. So I'm sorry about that. But yeah, Haney, Bellew, and Terry O'Connor can't split them.
Yeah, Haney's a good one. Bellew's a good one. It's got to be Fat Terry Aussie for me. It's got to be Terry.
Yeah, he's not going to win it, but I'm just giving another shout as well. Billy Nelson has just tweeted saying, my prediction is Lewis Ritson will win a world title by the end of next year. So I don't know what he's basing that on. After
I think that's a troll, actually, to be honest. I think he's trolling there for some reason.
Really?
I think so. I don't know why. There's just something sticking in my craw about that.
I wouldn't be surprised, though. See, these days, you only have to get a couple of wins, a vacant WBO appears, and then all of a sudden Bob's your uncle. Bob Aaron, maybe, literally, you know.
No way. So there's not a chance that's happening. No way. Not by the end of 2021. But for my vote, yeah, it has got to be Fat Terry O'Connor.
2 for Terry. Make it a threesome, Andy?
Absolutely, mate. I mean, listen, if you thought carrying cleverly back to the corner against Kovalev was bad, this is just disgraceful. I mean, we go back to it. Listen, corruption or incompetence, neither is good, and he's shown potentially both over the course of his career. And that, and it's just bad. It's a bad sight, and fuck anybody that says that you know Germany's worse or America's worse than that. You know, we're apparently the biggest nation in the world now for holding these big events and stuff like that. Usually the ESPN, for example. This is happening close to every single show. There's a dodgy scorecard, one getting scored way wide, and now we know why. Fucking judges either falling asleep or watching their phone or watching RedTube on their mobile phone when they should be scoring a fight. That's what's been happening.
3 for Terry O'Connor, Rob. One thing that we haven't mentioned about Terry, actually, Rob, do you remember the first John McDermott Tyson Fury fight when he gave the fight to Fury?
Yeah.
You remember Frank Maloney screaming on the side of the ring? I mean, that could have affected Frank. That could have sent him down a dark path, that result.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff Terry O'Connor is guilty of. I don't know if we can give him fully the blame for that one, but it just stinks. Like, he's sitting on the phone. Like, it's like, how did you score the fight, Terry? Don't know, mate, but I have a brilliant WhatsApp of a cat falling out of the sky on a fella's head and then a dog turns up with some shoes, but I couldn't tell you what happened in the fight. Just put it down for fucking Ritson.
4 for Terry. Ben, good to have you with us throughout, sir. Who's your nomination? You're going for Terry as well, aren't you?
Obviously, yeah. It's got to be Terry. Disgraceful.
Game, set, and match for Terry then. Congratulations. Episode 395, Bellew of the Week.